Jesus is the king. No surprise there, right? We've been talking about it for weeks now. But there is no way to be king if there are no men to follow you. Well, people, not necessarily men. You get it. Today we're going to talk about the group of men that followed Jesus, his disciples. The best kings choose their men wisely. Who can best handle the affairs of the kingdom? Whoever qualifies is chosen to be the king's man. Do you remember last week? Jesus went out into the desert to be trained and tempted by the devil. When he returned, this is what happened. Jesus was out preaching, telling people to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is come near. While he was walking along one day, he saw something. Two brothers, Simon Peter and Andrew. They were fishermen and were, fishing. Here's where Jesus found his first two men. He told them, "Come follow me, and I will send you out to fish for people." I guess he was really convincing, being the Son of God and all, because they dropped their nets and followed him. Now, we're going to play a familiar scene. Jesus kept walking along, now with Simon and Andrew, and saw two more brothers, John and James, fishing with their father Zebedee. Same thing happened. He called, they followed. Now Jesus had four men. He went around teaching in the synagogues, proclaiming good news, and healing every disease and sickness. News spread, and soon people brought sick people from all over to him. They brought the demon-possessed, the paralyzed, and all were healed. Large crowds began to follow him. So you see, Jesus was a king who knew how to get the right men. Ultimately, that count went up from 4 to 12. The crowds kept growing too. He became a pretty darn popular king. But what does that mean for us? Jesus was neat, had a bunch of men who followed him around. So what? Well, Jesus calls us too. We, like the disciples, are Jesus' men. The call he gave to Andrew and Simon is the same call that he gives to us. "Come follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." Matthew 4:19. But what exactly does that mean? That's a good question. So does Jesus want us to get out fishing poles, run down the street, and hook people? No. In fact, please don't do that. What he wants us to do is catch people. Still confused? Let me put it another way. What Jesus wants is for us to gather people under his kingship. We are like fishermen, casting out nets of the gospel and bringing in new fish. Instead of eating those fish, we turn them into fishermen too, who in turn cast out their gospel nets. In the simplest terms I can think of, Jesus wants you to tell your friends about him. Your friends, your family, maybe even total strangers. We're like fishermen, using Jesus' love to capture people's hearts. That is our task as the king's men. Or women, or people if you prefer. Now, I'm going to go get my pole, so if you'll excuse me, I have some fishing to do.